Welcome to the Big Success Show. Today, 4 steps to ride the waves of change. Brought to you by FinancialFreedomTool.com. Plenty of money for life.
Big Success with the professor and Mary-Lynn.
You know, Mary-Lynn, out of all the founding fathers, Ben Franklin is probably my favorite.
Is that right?
Well, you know, he was just, the guy did...
Because he was electric?
He had an electrifying personality, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I think it's just, the guy was so multi-talented. I mean, there's so many things that he accomplished in his life, from, you know, what we know him as with politics, to inventions, to business, to, you know, the first this, the first that, his virtues. I mean...
Yeah, entrepreneurial. It's just, he runs the gamut.
He really does, and he's just a fascinating man. And actually, one of my early businesses was the Ben Franklin store, so, you know, that kind of made me... you know, that kind of makes me interested in Ben Franklin, right? And out of all his quotes, one of them is very famous, and it's especially popular among politicians and tax collectors and also morticians.
Okay.
That quote is, "Nothing is certain except death and taxes."
Boy, isn't that true. And I don't know, is it comforting to know that nothing's changed?
I don't know if it is or not, but we do know that change is constant,
Yes.
as old Ben's subtly telling us with his quote. Now, going forward, here's one thing we can be certain of. Things are going to keep changing.
Yes, whether we like it or not, right?
Exactly
whether we're
right.
ready for it or not. And the question is, are you leading change in your life, or is it leading you?
And as technology continues to develop, change is occurring more and more rapidly. You know, Mary-Lynn, I saw a study some time ago that said that the world is changing 1,000,000 times faster than the average person's ability to absorb it.
Yeah,
we have constant change. And so one of the things that people don't realize is entrepreneurship has been called the science of change, because entrepreneurs understand how valuable change is, because it's in the change that opportunity is created. So isn't it safe to assume that in the future, the only change is going to be that change is going to change more frequently, more faster, right?
When you put it that way, George, we do have a choice to make.
Yes, we do. You can either develop the skills to anticipate change so you get ahead of it, or you just respond to it after the pain becomes so great you just can't do anything else.
Like, all right, I guess I'll do this.
Yes, begrudgingly.
Hopefully you'll see that the first choice is definitely the choice that you want to make. After all, that's what big goal-getters do, and you have to ride the waves of change. Here are 4 things that you should evaluate to prepare for this awesome ride. Number 1, understand your risk tolerance.
Yeah, now when it comes to risk, you know, the basic principle of finance, the basic principle of money is with risk comes reward. Studies of wealthy people show that they take more risk on average than people who aren't wealthy. I think that's really important to understand. Wealthy people tend to take more risk.
Well, wouldn't you say it's because they have more to risk?
I was hoping you would say that, Mary-Lynn.
Yeah, okay.
But they also have more to lose. Do you ever think of
Okay.
that? The thing is, the key thing to
But if
understand
you
here,
don't have much, then you have more to lose.
you can
I
lose.
mean, if you have little and you risk it, and you've lost everything.
Right.
Or if you have a lot and you risk a little, you lose nothing.
That's why entrepreneurs are not risk lovers. They are amazing risk managers, risk mitigators. They reduce the risk down to an affordable level. And that's one of the secrets to being a successful entrepreneur. And as we always say at Big Success, entrepreneurship is something we bring to life. So in your life, this is a principle you can use, whether you ever start a business or not, understanding that when you are a good risk manager, that's the secret to actually being successful. Wealthy people are really good at that, and that allows them to take more risk than the average person might. So now some people are so risk averse. So here's this is really important to understand.
I've got a little bit, and I need to hang on to it for all I've got.
You're exactly right. So some people, they're so risk averse that they do nothing risky at all. They may do nothing at all. Okay. And, you know, unknowingly, they may be taking the biggest risk that anyone in today's rapidly changing world can possibly take. Doing nothing is doing something. So the key to managing risk is to stay steady and ride the waves of change, because making a sudden move can result in a big wipeout.
Woo! Wipeout!
But see, that's the thing entrepreneurs understand, is if we can step into this little by little by little. And how many times, Mary-Lynn, have we said, oh, we just wish that we would have gotten to this coaching client, would have come to us earlier. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of times we put off the important decisions, or put off maybe bringing in important allies, to a point where we make mistakes along the way that turn out to be very costly.
All right.
And we can avoid them.
Moving on. Number 2. Another thing that you need to evaluate in preparing for your ride is to test your perceptions.
Now, as we grow older, which I know nothing about, just look at my hairline for the rebuttal on that, right?
Why did we both laugh so hard at that? I don't know.
Yes. So as we grow older, we develop a point of view based on our past experiences.
Right.
And unfortunately, those experiences are many.
Yes, it's very. Well, for example, when we were wee little toddlers, we learned that when you put your hands on a hot stove, it hurts. So you don't do it again. We learned our lesson.
Sometimes, though, we take the wrong lessons away. You know, we put our hand on that hot stove and it hurts. And so what we do is we never turn that stove on again, which means we never get any hot food. I mean, think about it.
That's extreme.
We do the equivalent of that. I mean,
Right.
as silly as that sounds, that's what we do. We get out of our comfort zone and get burned.
You hear that a lot. Yeah, I mean, you'll hear that a lot with romance. You know, like, I fell in love and I got burned, so, you know what? Love stinks. I'm never going to fall in love again. You know,
Exactly.
That's not the way to go. You don't want to be lonely all your life. There is somebody out there for you. You just have to, get back out there.
Well, and in all areas of life, you got to keep testing, right? Keep trying things, because that's what's going to propel you forward to big success. Mm-hmm. Not changing, failing to change, failing to try, failing to push yourself past your comfort zone. That's a very dangerous attitude today. You know, maybe you've been thrown off a surfboard before. Well, get back on. That's the secret. Get back on. You've been thrown off 7 times. Get back on 8.
Yeah, exactly. You'll hear successful entrepreneurs say that's how they've succeeded.
Exactly.
Every time they made a mistake, it helped them get closer and closer to their big win.
Well, and as I once heard Mark Cuban say, you only have to win once.
Yeah.
So you can lose 7 times, but if that 8th time you win, and you win big, everything's great. That's what everybody will remember you for.
Coming up, 2 more steps to ride the waves of change. But first, a word from our sponsor, FinancialFreedomTool.com. Plenty of money for life.
Do you feel doubt when making money decisions? Let the Financial Freedom Tool be your decision-making guide 24/7, 365 days a year, so you can make your next money moves with confidence. Learn more at FinancialFreedomTool.com.
Change is constant, and today we're talking about how to ride the waves of change for your big success. There are 4 ways to prepare for your ride, and number 3 is look for trends in the waves of change.
Now, there are trends and there are fads. It's an important thing to understand when you're looking at change. Is it a fad or is it a trend? Fads come and go. Don't worry about them. You know, I mean, I think of the hula hoop because I'm that old.
I was thinking of 80s hair.
Okay, 80s hair.
That's okay.
Well, I'm thinking of a hula hoop. Okay, now you could have made a lot of money from the hula hoop,
Yeah.
but it's here and gone.
Right.
Okay, for the most part. 80s hair, I don't know what
Yeah, it's timeless.
Well, but not at the level that it was in its heyday.
Way back.
Right.
Oh my gosh! Earlier we were talking about how old we were.
Yes.
Or
This
were talking about,
even predates me.
Oh, okay.
Frankly, so I was too young to ever remember the hula hoop. I just saw them. Right.
Can you hula hoop?
Oh, I can't hula hoop at all. My hips don't go that direction.
I can make it work for like 1.
I can barely do
Or
the
2.
hokey. I can barely do the hokey pokey. So anyway, short term we have fads. Trends are long term. You got to get on board with those long term waves of change.
So thinking long term.
Yes.
What will affect your future income, for
That's a
example?
good one. Yes.
'Cause
That's a really good one.
Something will, right? For good or for bad. I mean, we've seen stock market crashes. We've got, what just happened with COVID-19. and how the pandemic really shut down the economy. So is this short-term phenomenon? Is this likely to continue? How is this going to affect me in the long run? These are the types of things to be thinking about, right?
Yes, and exactly. There are things that will be trends or turn out to be fads, and then there are some trends. There are some trends that were coming anyway that are going to be accelerated. You can position yourself properly by seeing these waves of change coming. What opportunities will be created? What skills will be important? Do you have them? Can you get them? Study your industry and be patient. Study your industry, by the way, and consider whether or not you need a new, your job, your employer, your industry, what's going to happen to those, to that as the waves of change come. Picking the right waves takes less energy and offers the longest ride.
Ride it out, dude. All right. Moving on to number 4. The fourth way to evaluate and prepare for your ride is don't expect perfection.
Yeah, Mary-Lynn, don't expect perfection.
I think you're the perfect husband.
I have that on tape.
And business partner.
I have that on tape now. I want you to know. That is now recorded. I'm going to play that for you every time we fight.
Ruh-roh.
All right, so here's the deal. If you take risk and try to get on the forefront of trends, it's very, very likely that you're going to make mistakes.
Oh, boy.
Even if you're perfect, you're going to make mistakes, right?
Yes, right? So
So expect them, celebrate them.
wait, I'm supposed to celebrate a mistake?
You're supposed to celebrate them because
What if it hurts? I'm seriously, I could take a risk, a financial
Yes.
risk of some sort, and it could really be painful. It could be something that could affect me long term. I'm not going to be jumping up and down over that.
Well, I'll give you 2 things for that, Mary-Lynn. Number 1, refer to our risk discussion from earlier and how entrepreneurs deal with risk, right? They
Right.
minimize it.
Right.
Number 2, remember what my dad said. Boy, that's going to feel really good, son, when it quits hurting.
Okay, that's a good point. So the key that you're making, the point that you're making, though, is that, we got to learn from the mistakes.
Yeah, think about it. You're gaining valuable knowledge while most people are still sitting on the beach.
That's
They
true.
think life's a beach.
Sure, I mean, right.
Life's getting on the board and riding the wave.
Right. And you can embrace change or you can begrudge it.
Yes. And you only have one life to live. So why not find a big wave and take the ride of your life to big success?
One great resource for managing risk, for anticipating change, for having that entrepreneurial mindset is our newsletter. If you aren't already subscribed, just go to Big Success, that's big with 2G's, success.com/newsletter.
And to all you dudes and dudettes, thanks for listening today.
Until next time,
Here's to your big success.
Find big success at biggsuccess.com.